So Baha'u'lláh said that for each time in civilization, and as civilization advances, there needs to be a new teacher. And the reason that there needs to be a new teacher is for two prime reasons that I know of, that I understand the Baha'i faith to be, is to, one, reinforce the spiritual principles of the past manifestation, and two, to bring about new laws and social reforms that apply to that people at that period of time. So when you have Moses that comes and speaks of justice in the form of an eye for an eye, or that we must practice justice amongst our people, you have Jesus that comes after him and reinforces all the spiritual principles that Moses brought about justice and love and mankind. But he brings something new, this turn the other cheek, which is bringing brotherhood. So it's not that one is superseding the other, that one manifestation is overriding the other, but they are reinforcing the spiritual principles that that manifestation brought, but then they're bringing things that are more applicable today, for today. And the way I see it is that just when you learn in grade 1, the first grade you learn 1 + 1, 2 + 2, you're learning the addition. It is only natural that we are going to be using those same addition principles, but when we go to the second grade and the third grade and the fourth grade, we're using that as a foundation, and then we're learning subtraction and multiplication and division and algebra. It's a progressive revelation, and that's what made sense to me the most as a Baha'i, that we are all one. See, I consider myself a Hindu, I consider myself a Buddhist, and I consider myself a Muslim and Christian and Jew. But I know that for now and for today, the most relevant principles are those that were brought by Baha'u'lláh.
That seems very interesting. The next question I have for you is, how as a woman would you practice these principles in this day and age?
I think I'm still discovering a lot of these things. I think because I've only just entered womanhood as of this year. If you count 21 to be the official age. I'm discovering many things. I do know, I'm happy to know that there is the equality between the men and women. And I'm happy to know, and I feel empowered to be a woman. And I know that there are many tasks and struggles and tests and trials before me. But there is a couple things that I do know regarding the rearing of children that I'm starting to focus on. Lately, I've become involved in a lot of activities to do with youth, troubled teenagers, junior youth, children, in developing their moral education so that they can be better equipped to serve humanity and better equipped to help themselves on a spiritual basis in this world. So I've noticed that as a woman, I am the prime educator for my children, and I am also responsible for other children and for their moral education as well as their education in arts and sciences. I think that every person, whether it be a man or a woman, has different roles to play, but I do know that the woman was given the blessing to be able to rear a child, therefore she also has the blessing to encourage the child and to push them along on their spiritual path.
What is the one thing you have learned from your mother that you would like to pass on to your children?
That sacrificing is the dying of one's material self to receive a spiritual happiness. And the sacrificing that I've seen on her part as a woman in this day and age and as the previous generation is a beautiful sacrifice. You know, the sacrifices she made for us as a family and as a whole and as a unit, the way she was so supportive of my father, who was an excellent provider. Those sacrifices are spiritual advances for her and have resulted in me being more closer to God. So I would definitely want to pass that on to my children.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So, could you elaborate a little bit about Baha'u'lláh and the text?
I think we as Baha'is are very blessed to have the Kitab al-Aqdas, which is the holy text of the Baha'is. The reason for that is because Baha'u'lláh has written it all with his own hand. There leaves little room for misinterpretation of the writings when a manifestation has written it. So the prayers that we read and the prayers that we chant are all from his own words, which makes it very, very special to me and very unique to me. Also, a bit about Baha'u'lláh. Baha'u'lláh was the founder of the Baha'i faith, and the Baha'i faith actually originated in the Middle East, where many of the other religions had originated, all in the East. And he was born in Persia, Iran, known as today. And his whole life he was exiled from one place to another, from Iran to Iraq to Turkey, all these areas. Like many other manifestations, like Buddha and Krishna and Muhammad, many were subjected to cruelty by their people. They always say that manifestations are never accepted in their homeland. And that to me, there is a truth to why Baha'u'lláh came and the Baha'i faith originated in Iran. We are told that wherever there is the darkest period or the darkest area, that is where the light of truth will come from.
So your parents are originally from Persia?
Yes.
And do they follow the same religion, and where are they now?
So yes, I was born into a Baha'i family, and my parents, coincidentally, were born in Iran, but they moved to the States when they were younger than I am, and they now. Actually, I lived in California for 9 or 10 years, and there was a time or period where my parents had thought that California and the materialistic and consumer-focused environment was not something that was appropriate to grow children in a spiritual manner. So we decided that we would go to another place, a place that we felt that we could also serve the community as Baha'is and assist mankind in that area. So we decided to pioneer, is the word used, to Australia. So for the last 11 years of my life, I've been living in Australia.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. So, and because there's Baha'is everywhere, I can share the love of the message of Baha'u'lláh with any one person at any given time in any one island or any country or continent. Yeah.
So what made you come to Atlanta?
Oh, I came to Atlanta to chase after a dream as far as career goes. I'm a reporter and an anchor. So I came here just to station with my uncle and aunt until I found an appropriate job. I guess I always, as far as career goes, in the Baha'i faith, we believe that work is worship, and that every craft that one learns, and that everyone should devote their time and an effort to learning a craft, that craft that they learn is somehow being of service to humanity. And I think my love was for reaching masses of audience at any given point, and eventually going into working with troubled teenagers and youth and their moral development. So I think the television industry for me was a good choice, and I hope to be of service to humanity in that regard.